Welcome to the Martin Bailey Photography Podcast. It's August 30, 2021, and this is episode 751. I recently had the opportunity to take ON1 NoNoise AI 2021 through its paces, and for a number of very cool reasons I decided it has a place in my digital workflow. So today I'm going to share my findings with some real-world examples. As you know, I'm a huge fan of Capture One Pro, and I like to stay in Capture One as much as possible. And I really like to avoid saving Photoshop files or TIFF files of images after processing unless they're for output purposes. If I'm going to continue to work on an image, even just reprocessing as the raw engine of my chosen software is updated, the benefits of keeping an image in its original raw format are huge. For this reason, I was initially reluctant to round robin to an external program with a raw file. But I had some noise that was a little bit much for Capture One Pro to really deal with, so I initially figured I had no choice. To my surprise though, when I came to save the image that I worked on, I had the option to save it as a DNG file, which is Adobe's digital negative format. Not the original RAW format from my camera, but in this case, I was working on a DNG file anyway, because it was an image that I'd shot with my microscope and used Helicon Focus's RAW in DNG out technology to maintain the integrity of my images as much as possible, so I was really losing nothing. The first image that I tried was of an ant's face, but as close-ups of insects aren't everyone's cup of tea, I'll walk you through this process again with another image that needs to be cleaned up a little, which is another microscope photograph that I think looks like we're looking into a shallow pond, seeing the stones and pebbles on the pond bed. After installing ON1 NoNoise AI, you get an edit with shortcut menu that you can select to jump to NoNoise AI. But if you use this method in Capture One Pro, you have to save as a PSD, a TIFF or a JPEG, and I want to avoid that. Of course, if I go back to my original RAW file, I lose the settings that I've already made to the image in Capture One Pro, but we can copy and paste those changes back onto the denoised version later. So instead, I am going to right-click my image and select Show in Finder. From Finder, I can then right-click my image and from the Open With menu select ON1 NoNoise AI. Note that you can follow along with the images if you're using a device that understands photos in chapters, but if you can't see the images, go to mbp.ac/751 to follow along. After opening your image in ON1 NoNoise AI, you'll see the controls over on the right and can adjust the noise reduction sliders to suit your needs. For this image, I'm going pretty heavy on the sliders, taking them almost all the way over to the right. As my camera adapter isn't great, I am also going to take this opportunity to sharpen the image a little using the sharpening section. It will be difficult to really see the changes in the web size version, but there is a slider that you can move from left to right to check the results of your settings as you move the sliders. Unlike ON1 Photo RAW, which I also tried recently, NoNoise is really snappy and responsive. I found ON1 Photo RAW to be slow to do anything, even on my 8-core CPU iMac Pro, and because of that I decided not to review or recommend it to you. It's not completely terrible, but when you're used to the responsiveness of Capture One Pro, pretty much everything else falls flat on its face. Anyway, adjust your settings while checking the results with the preview slider, and then when you're ready to apply your changes, hit the apply button on the right details panel. Once you hit apply, the button turns red and the lock is applied, leaving you free to select crop, mask, refine and retouch from the toolbar on the left. The mask option is really useful if you want to apply your denoising to just specific areas of the image, but I'm just going to apply them across the entire image, so I'm going to hit the Done button in the bottom right corner. When you hit Done, you'll be presented with a dialog to save your image. And you can select Photoshop PSD or PSB for large documents, or TIFF, JPEG or PNG files, but as I explained, I'm most interested in the final option, which is DNG, enabling me to essentially resave my RAW file. I added the word NoNoise to the end of my file name so as not to actually overwrite my original file for comparison, but you could overwrite if you are happy with the changes and want to save a little space. Back in Capture One Pro, because Capture One doesn't know anything about the new file yet, I have to right-click the folder with my original image inside and select Synchronize, which enables me to import the new denoised image. And now I can use the Copy and Apply button in Capture One Pro to copy all of the changes from my original image and apply them to the new denoised image. Here first is the original Capture One Pro processed image with a bit more grain than I like to see, mostly from the fact that the image was of a very dark area of a microscope slide rather than any deficiency in Capture One Pro. This is still only web-sized, but if you click on it, it will open up in a light box so that you can see the difference better as you navigate through the example images. And here is the next one, the ON1 NoNoise AI version. Again, this is the entire image for comparison. You can probably see an improvement even in the resized web version, but to ensure that you can appreciate the difference, here now are two 100% cropped images at 1440 pixels wide. So once again, click on them and open them in the lightbox, but then use your keyboard arrow keys or swipe to navigate between the two images and you'll see how much cleaner the denoised version is. Keep in mind that you are looking at 100% crops of microscope photos with a crappy camera adapter, so it's not great definition to begin with, but will illustrate how well ON1 NoNoise AI has removed the noise from the image. On my computer, I only get a shortcut menu to open an image in NoNoise AI when I right-click DNG files. The option is missing if I right-click RAW files, but NoNoise AI is designed to work on RAW files rather than PSD or TIFFs, and I found that I can simply drag and drop files to the NoNoise AI interface or use the Open File option. As a second test, I opened a Canon RAW file of a Milky Way shot from Namibia in 2019, which has a fair amount of grain that I wanted to remove. After opening in ON1 NoNoise AI, I allowed the AI to select its recommended settings and hit the Done button to save a DNG file again. Back in Capture One Pro, after synchronizing to pick up the new file, I once again copied and pasted all of my original adjustments to the newly denoised DNG file, and the image came to life without the original grain in the sky, and none of the stars, as far as I can tell, were removed in the process, and that's pretty impressive considering how small many of them are. Here again, are the two photos for comparison. Please open them in the Lightbox and check out the details. I think you'll be impressed by the difference. Even just with 1440 pixel wide web resized images, the difference is easily visible. So ON1's new NoNoise AI 2021 has found a place in my workflow now, even though I don't have that many noisy images. It's really nice to have an option though to remove heavy noise easily and save it as a pseudo RAW file in the form of DNG. If you are as impressed as I am and would like to pick up a copy of ON1 NoNoise AI 2021 and you feel like supporting this blog and podcast in the process, please use our affiliate link to jump over to ON1. The link is in the blog post at mbp.ac/751. Thanks very much for listening today. If you enjoy this podcast, please share a link with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes or your favorite podcast program to ensure uninterrupted delivery. If you have a moment to rate the podcast or leave us a review in iTunes, that helps to keep us relevant in the huge number of podcasts out there now. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn, and links to everything that I'm up to are at martinbaileyphotography.com, so do drop by and take a look. I'll be back next week with another episode, but in the meantime you take care and have a great week, whatever you're doing. Bye bye.